Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a review on a new drugstore foundation that I've tried out, and it's the L'Oreal Lumi Magique foundation. I think this is a fairly new release on the market, and it kind of falls in that category of the glowing hydrating finish. It's not a matte finish foundation. It has that kind of very almost like natural wet look skin finish. It's similar to other foundations like the Neutrogena Healthy Skin, which is also a drugstore variety with that kind of glowing finish, and a more high-end version would be the NARS Sheer Glow. This is obviously a lot more expensive than the drugstore varieties. So I thought what I would do is I would first apply this foundation so you can see how it goes on, like how it looks when it's applied, and then at the end of the video I'll just tell you my thoughts on it and a more in-depth review. So let's get started with the application. I'm going to take a couple of pumps of the foundation just on the back of my hand. This is just 2 pumps. And for this I'm going to use my favorite foundation brush, which is one by Sigma, and it's the F80, which is the flat top synthetic kabuki. As you can see, the color here is really not, the perfect match for me. So this is like the one thing that I don't like about this foundation. I could lighten it now with some white foundation that I have, but I want to just show you how this foundation applies just as is. So that's why I'm not, mixing it with something else. So I just kind of buff this everywhere. Actually, I'm just going to go over the whole eye. So, and since this is really not, a perfect match right now, I'm going to drag it out kind of down my neck. And then also on the forehead, just really kind of blend that in. Okay, so I'm just kind of finishing buffing that in. So now that foundation is on, I do have to use concealer in some areas. That's with all foundations with me. So I'm going to just use some of the MAC Studio Finish right below my eyes. This is again a brush from Sigma that I'm using. This is the Precision Round P82. It's a synthetic brush. And I'm just going to kind of blend out just below my eye, and it's just gonna cover up any dark circles. Okay, so I applied the rest of my makeup just with my eye makeup and lips, and now what I'm going to show you is how you can kind of make a even more highlighted kind of glowing finish. And for that I'm going to use the Magic Lumi. This is actually meant to be a primer, but I found that you actually can use this really well as a highlighter, like a liquid highlighter as well. It comes out in a little pump. And I'm just going to apply that with the tips of my fingers and just kind of work that in right there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that really. It has this beautiful luminescent glow. I really, really like how this looks on the skin. So if you have oily skin, you don't want to put this like all over your face. You just really want to focus this kind of like on your cheekbones, and just avoid areas where you get really oily. Like if you have T-zone, like don't put it on your forehead and stuff. So there you can see how that looks. Just that really nice kind of luminescent glow. I'm gonna use a cream blush on my cheeks. This one is by Bobbi Brown. It's called Pink Raspberry. Kind of working that in with an angled brush. Oh, this one is again by Sigma. This is the F84. I really like their synthetic brushes. That's probably my favorite brushes that they make. Okay, so that's the finished look, just the foundation, and I hope that gives you kind of an overview of how this L'Oreal foundation applies and how it looks once it's on. I think it looks quite fresh. It looks quite nice. The only thing, of course, is the color for me is personally not 100% match. So overall, I do like this foundation. I do like how it applies. I like the finish. It gives a very glowing, hydrated look. If you're someone who's really into matte finishes, and if you have like really, really oily skin, this probably isn't the right product for you. If you have normal to dry skin, I think this would work really well, because if you like that kind of dewy, glowing finish, this is I think a really good drugstore version of that kind of glowing finish. I think the coverage is pretty good for drugstore foundations. Generally, drugstore foundations for me don't have as good coverage as higher end brands like department store brands, but I do think that for a drugstore this is fairly good. Like, I do like it better, for example, than the Neutrogena Healthy Skin, which has a similar type of finish, but I find that the Neutrogena is very, very sheer. This one does a better job. It probably isn't, you know, as flawless, I think, as the NARS Sheer Glow, which would still be my favorite, but of course the NARS Sheer Glow is a really, really high-end, expensive foundation, so this is like a good budget alternative, I think. So for me, I really like this. I definitely give it a thumb up for a drugstore foundation. I really like it in combination with the Magic Lumi. You could use this even as a primer that would kind of even enhance the glowing effect. If you want it even more glowing and a more sheer coverage, then you could use that in combination, or you can do it like I did and just apply it to highlight certain areas. I do wish that they would offer this in more skin tone varieties. The one that I'm using is K2 Rose Porcelain, and for me it's quite yellow on me. I don't know how the color range is in other countries. I know that usually in North America you guys have a lot more color ranges for drugstore foundations than we have here in Europe. Like here in Switzerland, I think there's only like 4 or 5 shades. That is it for my review. I do like the product overall. I do wish there was a bit more color variety and you know, just to match different skin tones, but for me, I do think it's an overall good drugstore foundation for an affordable price range. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that was helpful for any future drugstore purchases that you might be making. And in the meanwhile, check me out on Facebook and on Twitter. I will have links to all that below. And I think I'll also post some pictures of this finished foundation just on my blog. So if you want to check that out, I'll post that as well. So thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.